The following review has been approved by Ethel the Cyborg Ninja. Welcome to Classic Game Room. This is Sega Genesis fanboy Mark reviewing Herzog Zwei for the second time. Zwei, because it's amazing. I love the stereo effect on the opening drum roll. This is Herzog Zwei, a 1989 release for the Sega Genesis. And one of my favorite games of all time. I previously reviewed this in 2008 with a big multi-part review on the internets. But now that I'm recording in space, it's the future. I'll review it again because it's fun to play, and I'll show you some more tips and strategy along the way. Hey, that rhymes. This is from Technosoft, the same company who brought us the Thunder Force series and Elemental Master. In fact, you may recognize many of the sound effects from other games. Needless to say, the music is incredible, which is a good thing because you'll be spending a lot of time in Herzog Zwei and you'll want something to rock out to while you're destroying the enemy. There's 8 levels in total, each with its own musical theme. Now don't go looking for any turn-based combat here. Herzog Zwei is a real-time strategy game. You're fighting the battle on the fly. Quite literally. In fact, you can also transform into a robot and walk around and shoot things. It's a combination of ordering units and giving them commands, and also being able to fly around the battlefield, move your pieces, and transform and shoot the enemies that makes Herzog Zwei so special. Well, that combined with the music, the visuals, and overall style of the game. When you're in airplane mode, you cannot shoot enemy units, but you can shoot the enemy mech if it's also in airplane mode, and you cannot destroy the enemy base yourself by shooting at it. You must use your pieces for that. I'm playing against the computer here, but Herzog Zwei is one of the best two-player games you'll ever play. The split-screen mode in two-player is terrific. Over the years, people have asked me, Sega Genesis fanboy Mark, what's the best strategy to win at Herzog Zwei? Well, for starters, you need to feel the blast processing flow and pulse through your body. Then, always stay on the offensive. Never let up. Never give your opponent a chance to counter or focus on attacking you. Always be a pain in their ass. Whenever you get a chance, take a moment to send something at their base. Even if it's just a motorcycle, disrupt their flow of operations so that you can concentrate on building your bases and fortifying, and then eventually launch an all-out attack, crushing them without mercy. That's your pro tip from Sega Genesis fanboy Mark. Each level's different, but I'm going to start a game here and show you one of my favorite strategies to get a head start in the game. We'll go with Type C here, which is hard but not the hardest level. The first thing you do is order a tank to attack their main base. And then pick it up at your little substation here, which is closest to their main base. And we're not going to worry about the return trip. I'm going to explode after I drop off this tank, but I don't care about that. What's important is that I drop it behind their main base so it does some damage. There we go. And I'm just going to transform and attack their tank while I'm at it. Okay? There. Now the robot is concentrating on saving his base instead of attacking me. Alright, and what we're going to do is I'm going to order a boat to attack his main base. I'm going to send down a couple boats and a tank. And that's really going to mess him up. Maybe 2 boats. 2 boats should do it. Boats aren't terribly effective, and sometimes they can get lost, so you really can't rely on them, but they're fairly cheap, and while I'm destroying them with tanks, the boats will help do some additional damage and disruption. My boats are gonna get here any minute now. Woo! There they are. You see the boats? They're about to hit them. Looks like I'm gonna need one more tank to do it. Oh, no, one of the boats got him. Yes, number one. You can also put the game in split screen if you're playing against the computer, which should be helpful if you're a beginner so you can watch what your enemy is doing. You'll quickly learn that when playing against the computer on pretty much any difficulty setting, it will become obsessed with a base, and you can use that to your advantage by just surrounding it with missiles, which are the most effective weapon against the enemy mech, except they're weak against tanks, so you'll also need some tanks or armored cars to protect them. In a nutshell, what you do is conquer all of these smaller bases with your soldiers. You give them a command, and it'll take 4 troops to conquer a base. Meanwhile, you're also attacking their main base. That's how you win the game. The more sub-bases you have, the more money you collect quickly. This is one of the best games on Sega Genesis. It belongs in your collection right next to Truxton, Musha, and Revenge of Shinobi. It's Herzog Zwei. What I'm going to do this time is play on OAS, which is the largest level, the most challenging level on the most challenging setting, Type D. And my trick of dropping tanks behind their base really won't work here, because at first I can't reach it, so I'm gonna actually have to play the right way, which is conquer slowly, then destroy. So let's start off with some defense. Need a couple things around my base. The enemy's got a lot of defense going on this level. On the harder difficulty setting, I'm spending a lot of time securing this one base. I do not want to let this base fall. I want to keep the enemy robot away from here at all costs. So lots of missiles, so that he cannot land and do any damage. You hear that sound? I'm actually taking over a base in the background. I just conquered another base while the computer wasn't even looking, because he was busy watching this. And now I am creating my wave of death for the end of the game. Alright, you see now I'm starting to launch enemies at him with missile cover. It's very important to do that. The game's getting a lot of slowdown now that it's like maxed out on a number of pieces. I've really worn down his defenses at this point. He's getting very, very agitated. And rightfully so, he's gonna lose. I got one tank attacking him right now. I'm building another one. He's out of missiles. Can you hear that? That's the sound of my opponent screaming. This should do it. I am going to launch this tank. Only took about 45 minutes, but I got him. Collecting base after base after base while constantly being a thorn in his side. Then you get the stats at the end of the game. I built 127 units, and well, he was blown up a lot. Look at that. 42 minutes. OAS on hard. The best of classic Game Room is on DVD, Blu-ray, and Laser Hypervision album set.